Okay, today's carve, I'm going to create a little jig. We've got tons and tons of 1/8 inch acrylic circles from our dust boot creation. So I'm going to create a jig that allows me to carve 5 of them out on our CO2 laser at once. I'm going to turn, basically I drop the little circles into the jig, and I can show you the jig here. Simulate. And the center circles are going to be gone, and these little discs are going to sit down into the pockets, 5 of them, and allow me to laser 5. I'm going to turn a bunch of this stuff into keychains and that sort of thing. So we're going to drop 5 of them in there, hit go on our CO2 laser, and kind of speed things up. If necessary, I can come back and make some more of these jigs. But I'm just using some scrap MDF that I demonstrated surfacing earlier, which was this carving path here. So this carving path, just simple, straight back and forth, nothing fancy. Since then, I've added the various carves, including bridges, in order to hold on to that center piece so that it doesn't go flying and cut my bits. So let's go carve this. This is all going to be using the downcut 2525 from Cyclone Bits. Yeah, let's do some carving. Oh, one final update here. Whenever I saved it out, since this is for my Dominator, I've actually created my own profiles, edited my own profiles for the Dominator. I know Vectric has got their own Dominator Pro listed on in their drop down now. If you don't have it in your CarveCo, you can come up to where is it? MASSO Arcs, I believe it's called. MASSO. There it is. MASSO Arcs. My machine is programmed is configured for inches, so that's what you export it out. That's the profile that I started with whenever I created my Pwn CNC inch profile, but that's just something I was playing around with, some additional features and products that I'm not ready to talk about yet. But yeah, that MASSO Arcs inch is what I use because my machine is my MASSO is configured for inches. So I save that out, the profiles that I want, out to my disk, and I've got that right here. Okay, you can see my messy shop here, and I've got my disk. I'm going to pop that into the machine. Go to File, and we're going to wait until the files load up. I called it, what did I call it? A keychain jig. Oop, there it is. Load that up, and we should see a preview of that pop up right here. So I've configured it so that it cuts the little finger pockets in first, then it comes in and cuts the little ridge out for the ledge that the acrylic's going to drop onto, and then I've got the cutout with the bridges involved there. So now that I've got my file loaded, I'm going to come back over to jog, because the first thing I need to do is re-zero my bed, or my stock, which I'm zeroing at the top of the stock, and let's switch over to do that. Okay, zeroing the stock is relatively easy, mainly because all of my tools in my library are already zeroed, so it doesn't matter which bit I grab, it knows exactly where the 0 is. So I can technically zero with any bit that I find convenient. So I'm going to bring it up here to the front. Since I've just surfaced this, I can actually measure anywhere off the bed or at the top of the stock, and it will come out just fine. I'm going to use the XYZ probe, and specifically I've measured this area of it, the thickness right here, and entered that into MASSO. I did not measure it in the other areas. These things can vary, so be sure that you're measuring right. Measure and test your Z at the same spot. You put the logo side down, right onto the surface. Put your magnet right onto the end of your spindle there. Then One final check I always do, because I don't trust computers mostly. I'm going to switch over to the F1 screen, and I'm watching the touch probe input, making sure that it changes whenever I'm touching the bit. So now that it's changed, my probe is verified, and I'm going to drop down a little bit, just above the surface, about a ½ inch or so. And I'm going to open up the probe screen, and I'm going to hit the center dot. That will lower the Z until it touches the probe. It now knows where Z0 is. I can pull this off, and I'm ready to start carving. I already used the XYZ to find my front left corner, which is what my origin is set to, using a 1/4 inch end mill, or Cat 5 here, since 1/4 inch is what I've got measured here. So that's been measured, the X and Y, so I already know that from when I initially surfaced it. All I had to do is just re-zero it. The other thing of importance is right now I've got our surfacing bit installed into the spindle, because that's what I used last. I'm using our Dominator Pro, the special product for adding all the tools in the front. I've got the 8 station spot, but you'll notice I don't have station tools in all 8 spots. I only have it in 3. In my tool library, I've specified that I've got tool 1 in slot 1, tool 16 in slot 2, tool 4 in slot 3, and I don't have any of the other tools assigned right now. I usually start with a blank slate, or start with my favorite bits always installed, and then add the bits as I work on various projects. And then whenever I go to clean out my shop or something like that, I'll usually put all of these back up in the back, just out of the way, so that I don't bump into them and they fall over and break bits or anything like that. And that'd be the last thing I want. But these things are extremely stable and strong, and these are going to come to our digital files soon, so stay tuned for that. Let's see, I think it is time to start carving. So let me get you a different view. Okay, here we are back at our screen. We're ready to set it up and getting ready to hit that green button, which starts the whole program. I've got the file loaded up, just hitting rewind there, and I can see right here that we're going to switch to tool number 4, which is our downcut 2525. It looks then to the library to see which slot tool number 4 is in. See, these are all the tools that I've got defined. These are all the cyclone bits that I've got loaded up into my various slots and whatnot. The slot number 4, or I'm sorry, tool number 4 is in slot number 3, downcut 2525. And right now I've got the surfacing bit installed, and the surfacing bit is sitting, as I showed you earlier, in slot number 2. So whenever I start this program and it gets to the point where it just G4, M6, that line right there, that is going to basically go drop off the surfacing bit and pick up the downcutting bit, and I use the downcut bit for every one of these cuts. Now let me see, my compressor is all charged up, everything works. I've already done tool changes, so I know that everything's going to be functional. It should work just fine. And let me get you a better angle right before, get you a better angle so you can see the carve itself. And then I'm going to hit the green button out of camera. And then after the chiller turns on, which turns on automatically because I've got it plugged into my VFD, I'm going to hit this coolant flood, which is what I've got my shop vac configured to, because this machine is multi-use and I don't want my shop vac coming on every single time. Some carves I don't want to use the shop vac at all. So right now I've got it configured manually. I can hit that button, starts it up. At the end of the carve, there is a command at the bottom. I can go into that in details later. Whenever it gets to that command, it automatically turns off the coolant flood for me. So I don't even have to think about it at the end of the carve. All I gotta do is just wait until the end of the carve and the shop vac turns off automatically. But turning it on is still very manual, and it's just clicking a button. So let me get you a different angle. Okay, there's our angle. I'm going to go ahead and start a carve, which will automatically start switching bits. Now that it's got the new bit, it's going to spin up the VFD down in the bottom, right down there. And I'm going to start our shop vac. So that was already scrapped, so now it's going to continue to be scrapped, but I wanted to run through it and talk about a few things. First, I do have a dust boot, but I am using a down cutting bit, which means all that dust is being forced down into the holes, and it fights this 20-year-old shop vac that I'm using. It doesn't allow it to run as efficiently, which means it's pushing all that dust in there. So yes, I'm running a dust boot and there's lots of dust, but the bit has a lot to do with why that dust is there. So this is a great reason why I've got the dust, the shop vac on a button. After my carve is done, I can pop this off and do some local cleanup just by pushing a button on the screen. But yeah, I'm going to redesign my piece, make sure I'm using diameters instead of radius, and I'm going to carve this whole thing again, but I'm going to do that off screen. But just wanted to know that if you make something, have a backup plan, because mistakes always happen, even to the best of us. And yeah, so that's all I've got. That's the simple process, just so you can see an entire carve from start to finish. But that's it. I don't have anything fancy or any new products to show you or anything like that. It's just showing you how to carve. Hope you have fun. Happy making.